So let's learn about using Google Drive, which is free, for making English paper piecing templates. I'm going to assume that you already have a Google account and that you have enabled Google Drive for it. If you need some help to do those things, check the links below the video and we'll get you some help. So I'm going to go to drive.google.com. And that's going to bring up my Google Drive account. If I had some documents in it, you'd see those listed here in the center. I'm going to go to this red Create button, and then I'm going to select Drawing, and that's how I get into the Google Drive drawing tool. So right here is my live drawing area, and by the way, the default on this measures 7.5 by 10 inches, so margins for your printer are already included here. Now I've got to do two things before I can start drawing. First, I want to go to the View menu of Google Drive, which is right here along the top. You click View, and then you select 100%. So I want to make sure that I'm looking at this drawing area at full size. The next thing I'm going to want to do is make sure that my web browser, and I'm using Chrome here, but you might use Firefox or IE or something else. I want to make sure that my web browser is displaying at 100% size too. I have aging eyes, so a lot of the time I go through and I make my browser larger and larger so that it's easier to read. So to make sure that I'm looking at things actual size, I just come up here in my Chrome menu across the very top of the screen and I select View and then I select Actual Size. So now I've made both Google Docs go to actual size, I've made my browser go to actual size, and now any shapes that I draw I can be reasonably sure are about the same size as they are on my screen. So here along the top of my active drawing area is a little tools menu, and the thing I want to use is the shape menu, which is right here. When I click on that, I can go to the shapes section and lo and behold, I can draw all of these amazing shapes, and a lot of them are things that we use in English paper piecing all the time. So you've got triangles, and you've got diamonds, and pentagons, and hexagons, and octagons, and of course many more. Why don't we start by drawing just a simple 6-sided hexie, since we're all pretty familiar with that shape in EPP. All I have to do is select it, and then my cursor actually turns into a little crosshair. And then I just click anywhere on the canvas and drag my mouse diagonally downward, and depending on how far I drag, I can make this hexagon as big or as small as I want to. You might notice that as I'm moving my mouse around, this hexagon is changing shape a lot. It's getting wider and narrower. You probably don't want that to happen for a lot of EPP projects, so what you can do to keep a shape in its original configuration is this. Let's go ahead and select our hexagon again, and then I'll draw another one, but this time I am going to hold down the Shift key on my keyboard. When I do that, the hexagon retains its original proportions, no matter how big or small I make it. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this other one for now. I just click on it and I hit the delete key and away it goes. Now why don't we do a couple adjustments to this hexagon? First of all, currently it is filled with light blue, and if I were to print this from my computer right now, the hexagon would print light blue. That's fine, except that I don't really need to use the toner for that if I'm just making EPP templates. So why don't I highlight this, and then I'm going to come up here to this Fill Color menu. It looks like a little bucket of paint. Right now there's a light blue selected. I will just go ahead and select a white. So now my hexie is filled with white. And then I prefer to make the outline here around this hexie a little thinner, because I think it makes it easier to cut accurately. So I'll select the hexie again, and then I'll come up here and there's a Line Weight menu. Click on that. You can see right now a 2-pixel line is specified. I'll go ahead and change that to a 1-pixel line, and now look how nice that is. I'll be able to print and cut that very accurately. Now another thing that you can do with your shapes in Google Docs is you can rotate them. So for this hexagon, I may want to orient this thing so its pointy ends are at the top and bottom instead of to the sides. There's two ways to rotate in Google Docs, and they are not created equal, so let's look at those. First, if I want to do just a manual rotate, there's a little handle that pops up. So when I select this hexagon, it has all these little blue lines around it and little blue squares, and up at the top is kind of looks like a pin, just a little extension with a round handle on it. Now if I grab that, I can actually rotate the hexie any direction I like. You can kind of see the lighter outline moving around in there. So I'll go ahead and rotate that now so it's standing straight up. This is the not preferred way to change the rotation of a shape in Google Drive, because you may have noticed that my hexagon in the process of doing that rotate got a little too tall. The rendering is just not accurate enough here for you to manually rotate something and have it retain its original shape precisely. So my recommendation to you instead would be to, let's make another hexie really quick. I will select my hexie. I will then go to Arrange. Up here at the top is a whole menu of tools. Select Arrange, select Rotate, and then select Rotate clockwise 90 degrees. And that turns it much more accurately. Compare these two hexagons side by side and you can easily see which one of them still looks like a hexagon. So again, I will pull out the blue color and I will go ahead and change to a thinner line around it. And that is the very basics of drawing shapes in Google Drive. You can do the exact same process to make yourself some nice triangles, or for that matter, a nice octagon, and so on and so on. In the next video, I'll show you how to make a whole page of templates that you can print and cut out.